Good morning. Welcome to Vlogtastrophe. I'm Jeffrey Curtis. Make sure that you like or subscribe, and I would appreciate that. And then what we're going to be talking about today is some phone things. I want to review the new 400 gigabyte micro SD. It's an amazing thing that they came out with. Well, first off, look at my beard. Isn't that cool? Nice lock. It's getting pretty long. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I thought I'd better get one in. So here we are. We're still out on the farm. School is kicked in, and there's no kids on campus, of course, because of COVID. But I still have to drive to the school, and so I'm still working every day, and not much to do with music lately. I have wrote one song called Good, and that's coming up in a while. I'll show you some of that stuff. Not today though. What I do want to talk about is some phones. I used to have this iPhone. I've been an iPhone person for a long time, and what happened was first, I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but I always end up burning out these lightning ports. And so I got the lightning port started failing really bad, and then the next thing you know, the battery was failing really bad. It took like 3 or 4 charges a day. And so I thought, I went over to the guy, and he said, well, that's going to cost $500 for me to do it. So I just ordered the parts to do it myself. Unfortunately, when the battery was low, right, I'd done a reset on the network and it bricked it. I thought, well, maybe once I put the new battery and stuff in there, it'll be all right. So I got the new port and new battery, and I tore it apart and put it in there, and guess what? Dead. Still bricked. So I had to buy a new phone. I don't know if you know anything about iPhones. Maybe you can give me a comment down there. I like this iPhone because it's only a 6, but it was the 128.6, plus, and I used to use it a lot. I like the interconnectivity of Apple products. But I went and I had to hurry up and buy something, so I bought this Revel 4 Android, and of course I couldn't get it in 128, but this one came with 64 gigabytes, which wouldn't hold my music library. So I thought, well, maybe I'll buy an SD, micro SD, and I'll upgrade it, which you can't do with Apple, but you can do with this Revel Android. Now, I've had a couple issues, of course, but I want to show you what I did. First, I bought this micro SD card, and it was only $19.99, and I was surprised to find that I could get a 400 gigabyte micro SD, and I thought, well, that's really good, so I got this micro SD 1, and I thought it would be able to do the job, of course, and so it's supposed to be designed for Android, be XC, which is basically fat formatting of extended fat formatting, and so I loaded in my card, and this is the Genericca one. I loaded it in my phone. I loaded this card in my phone, the Genericca, and then I started to try to download my music. And what I did was I used Power Amp in my phone, and I used Musicbe, and I transferred all my files over. Now, this was sort of difficult because there's a couple selections. And my suggestion, if you're transferring from iPhone to Android and you got an extensively large music collection like I do, 200 and 300 gigs, and you want to be able to use that stuff on Android. As you know, iTunes will not sync to an Android. It just won't do it. You have a couple different options. One, you can use Apple Music. Now, I do have Apple Music, and there's something I like about Apple Music. For $4.99, $5 a month, right? You can literally have every piece of music at your fingertips. right? You can just play anything, even if you haven't purchased it, it'll stream it. And that's cool for $5 a month. And so also, when you buy Apple Music, it'll upload a listing of your files in iTunes, and it doesn't upload all the files, it just uploads what you have, and then it searches for what it already has in its database and assigns it. And then if it doesn't have it in its database, then it'll upload those. And that's pretty cool too. Now, when I first researched Apple Music, it said that it didn't use an SD. It wouldn't let you use an SD. But after loading Apple Music and looking, it does have a selection to use your SD external drive. So that really is probably your best option right there. However, it costs, like I said, $5 a month. Your second option is free. You can use, like I said, Musicbe, and my suggestion is that you first transfer over, you first organize your files inside of iTunes, right? Organize them and have iTunes organize them and get rid of any empty directories and get them all cleaned up. And that can take some time. And then go over to Musicbe and log that directory as your music library. And it will copy all your files, and it'll reformat and change the format on like WMA files, and then import your whole library, including your artwork. And then you can hook up your phone directly to your computer via USB. Make sure that you have to go into your phone and select USB data transfer, otherwise Musicbe won't recognize it. And then you can begin to sync all your music. Now, I did that with the other micro SD, and what kept on happening was it would go so far, and then you'd go back. It would say it synced everything, and then you'd go back and there would be no directories, or the directories would be empty. And at first I thought it was a problem with Musicbe, right? I said, why is this doing this, But I tried for a week, and it just would not do it. So finally, I changed out that card and bought this one right here. The ScanDisk Extreme 400 gigabyte version 3 A2, and it says, it reads up to 60 megs per second, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So I bought the 400 gig, and by the way, you can get the 1 terabyte of these now, right? And this really amazes me. 1 terabyte. We're talking about 1 terabyte of information on a micro SD. Now, I don't know about you. My very first hard drive was 100 megs. And a 100 meg hard drive was literally this long, that tall, had to have a special card inside of my XT case, and it took up 2 bays, and it was 100 megs. And it blows my mind that you can put a terabyte of information now on one of these ScanDisks and micro SD card. How do they do it? Well, it's not only hardware, it's also software. They have extreme compression algorithms now that just work well. And this is amazing. It's amazing. So you can get the 1 terabyte. I bought the 400 gig. And the reason I bought the 400 gig, right now it says the price is $300, but I had enough, it said that's not right. That's for the 1 terabyte. The 400 gig is $69. Right? $69. And that's amazing, right? $69. I had some rewards. I paid $18. So then I put that inside my Rebel and synced it, and it worked perfect. Now I play it with Power Amp, which is supposed to be a free service, but after about a week it popped up and said your free trial is expired, but it still works, but it keeps coming up with this message. I haven't figured out how to turn that off. But now I can actually say, hey Google. You have to say, hey Google. You know, let's see. Hey Google, play some Triumph on Power Amp. And of course not going to work now.
Got it. Asking Power Amp to play Triumph.
See, this is it comes up with this thing. You just hit on the outside of it, and then boom. Some Cervelle red. But so it's pretty cool with this. Now you can imagine that a phone this size. Some phones have two SD card, micro SD card things, and you could actually carry 2 terabytes of information in an Android now because these extreme SDs. And I could carry a terabyte, but my library is not that big, so I didn't buy that. But it's pretty awesome, I gotta say. Amazing. So that's the video for today. I just wanted to review the two. So if I was you, I definitely would buy the ScanDisk Extreme. I would leave the generic ones alone because they don't seem to work properly. But for $69, that's less than, that's about the price of a hard drive, HD drive, so you can't go wrong there. Of course, the 1 terabyte is $300, and that's about the price of a regular, a good SSD drive. So you're still going pretty good. All right, so yeah, so that's how we did it. We purchased transferred the whole library over, and now I'm an Android user. I also found a couple apps to make it work, so you can hook it up to iCloud and have some of the other things that I appreciated about Apple. Of course, I don't have them all, but I have more space than I had with Apple. So, of course, the new Apple 12 Pro Max has 512. You can get 512 in that gigabytes, but you're going to pay $1,300. And I was going to buy that, but this was $200. There we go. I'm not cheap. I'm just frugal. See you later.